Thank you very much. I must thank the organizers for inviting me to make a talk to the students, medical students, on a topic with a very complicated title. So the title is not chosen by me, it's chosen by the program. And the title says it is healthcare in pandemic, integration of clinical approach with research and public health education. So the complicated is that this one has used so many terminologies like healthcare, pandemic, integration, clinical approach, research, public health education. It becomes too many. So I thought that I'll try to discuss in a way on the topic such that you develop an understanding and on which you can base your future thoughts. So the beginning, I will say that this pandemic has brought into the world, after more than 100 years, an epidemic which is spiralingly progressive. And it has ability to transmit between humans with a high potential and has already shown effect around the world in terms of mortality, in terms of sickness, and in terms of total recovery. That means some of the patients are remaining sick even after he has been declared cured. They are not able to perform functions, join office works, or cannot continue the same amount of work they did in the past. So we are facing a pandemic which world has not seen in 100 years, has created an opportunity for the medical students to learn by seeing, by being from within. এখন যদি Spanish flu, if we want to learn a Spanish flu, we need to read stories. If we want to learn COVID-19, we need not read stories. We are part of these stories. So in the backdrop of a human calamity, it is providing the medical students with an opportunity to learn by being part of it, which was not expected in a medical school. So we need to be able to see this pandemic as an opportunity to learn in the midst of a human calamity. So this pandemic has shown that people might be caught up in a disease process, in a widely spreading disease process, where really you are handicapped. You do not know how it transmits. You do not know how it infects people. You do not know how it causes death, how it causes sickness. You do not know how you can treat it. You have no vaccine. So you have fallen into a problem where you are unaware. তাহলে যুদ্ধক্ষেত্রে যখন when there is a war, for example, people knows that how many weapon we have, how many weapon they have, and that they fight. Here is a fight where we do not know what the virus have, and it has already shown that it can kill millions, exceeded millions in the world. So with a catastrophic, so captured the medical community with a bewilderness. They do not know what to do. So fortunately, people, the professionals around the world has started exchanging between themselves information and the laboratories are contributing in a very big way to develop the nature of the virus, the pathogenesis of the virus, the manifestations of the virus, the nature and cause of death of the virus. Despite having no effective treatment, supportive treatment can keep a patient alive. We are learning, we are seeing by person, by being within. So uh, there are many implications of this pandemic. One is said that it's going to be over at some point of time, but we will be left with many more pandemics to follow. One of the pandemic, as you very well know, is a poverty. We are going to see a pandemic of poverty, so people will have less opportunity to seek for healthcare, to seek for living. They will be developing malnutrition and effects out of it. So the pandemic of poverty and its attendant consequences we are going to see. We are going to see a pandemic of mental health disorder, because this is a stress put on people who are already stressed. This is a multifactorial stress on the disease, risk of dying, fear of financial loss, fear of uh, well-being. So there are many stresses causing, we are going to face a mental health epidemic. For example, there are examples in the world that among the Katrina survivors in USA, you know, there was a hurricane Katrina. So among the survivors, 30 more than 33% had post-traumatic stress disorder. So these types of new forms of mental health epidemic we are going to see. We are going to see an epidemic of uh, deconditioning syndrome. Deconditioning syndrome means people are going to lose their vitality, strength, and fatigue. So they're not, for example, in a day in USA, there was recovering patient were 72%, but patient joining office work was only 25%, which meant that 50%, more than 50% of the patient who we are saying recovered are not able to perform in office. The reason is that there is persisting some deconditioning syndrome, we say. So loss of strength, fatigue, weakness, cramps, pains in the muscles, and a sense of unwell. So all these putting them not attending the office, despite they have been cured by laboratory, that they are negative, they have no laboratory sign of sickness, but they are not able to join this deconditioning epidemic we are going to see. So the students will be learning out of seeing all this together, how one particular catastrophe can give rise to multiple attacks, multiple areas of the society. So the pandemic has created not only health consequences, it has called mental, physical, mental, social, and economic consequences. So people, so the major response to epidemic for the students will be their learning, non-contact learning, and in the educational institution, progressive increase in the use of non-contact learnings and assessment, because we cannot keep the students away from the school because there is pandemic. We need to keep them functioning there. So there will be a way that we lose less time in acquiring their minimum skills of the students. At the same time, we cannot do everything as we did in the past. So we are looking into how best the non-contact teaching and assessments are can contribute in education and also. So clinical learning and communication skill using standard patients and facilitation, we can outline the challenge of the challenges. The pandemic gave us insight how a disease, a community illness can affect lives and livelihoods together on a mass scale. These affection of livelihood are not for the sick only. They are for the non-sick, those who has not been affected by corona infection. They have been affected by the corona disease in terms of losing their livelihoods, straining their livelihoods. So pandemic forced changes in educational methodologies, educational processes globally, and we need to be able to accept and adapt to the requirements, to the needs of the time. This we have learned. So the impact has changed, that there are impacts, challenges, and opportunities of the pandemic on the clinical approach, on research and education. So the impacts are that there have been a standstill. The education, the healthcare has come to a virtual standstill, and those who are able to reach healthcare are not receiving appropriate treatment when there is a suspected COVID. If the patient has any symptoms suggestive of COVID, going to hospitals, in the beginning of the pandemic, they were not getting appropriate treatment. We have developed ways. So most of them in the Western countries done by rapid tests. In Bangladesh also, the physicians have developed strategies by doing CT scan, by doing the clinical signs and symptoms. They are able to diagnose in the absence of any test, whether rapid or slow. We have no test virtually. 15,000 for 16 crore is nothing. We require at least 4 lakh tests a day. We are doing up to 20,000 tests a day. So we are surviving out of it. We are not dying from lack of tests. People are learning. People are trying to recover how they can. So these are our learning. The students doesn't mean that they will be only looking deep into the Harrison, Love Bailey, Gray's Anatomy, etc. They will be learning from around. So learning from the environment is an issue. For example, in Harvard cannot have some education which is not known to the London or Cambridge or Melbourne. So what is there in Harvard? So in Harvard, the students learn from the environment. There is such a learning environment there is such a learning exercise going on in the environment. The students are learning. So this pandemic, I will appreciate that the students have been exposed. They have been given a land to learn. If you can learn, you learn. If you don't know how to learn, you don't learn. So we need to be able to learn the socio-pathological model of disease. So COVID is a disease because it is causing sickness, is causing death, is causing hospitalization, requiring ventilation. So it's a very serious disease. It's a social disease, it's causing serious financial impact on the society. Is a psycho because it is causing an enormous stress on the people, community, on the community. So this is a model which has been described for diseases, that every disease has a psychosocial disease model. We need to think of disease only. We need to think of its consequences on the human being, on the family, on the community as a large. So the psychosocial model of disease has been proven in front of you very clearly. By remaining within, you can learn that the disease has a psychosocial contribution in addition to being sick and traumatized. So the many changes we have seen. You are learning online, and the students are passing most of their time online. So we are learning from online. Online has both good and bad. You can choose. You can choose the good you can choose the good and reject the bad. Then you learn. Or you can do the reverse. You accept the bad and reject the good. So that's not a good option. So it is you. So the pandemic has shown that you have to do for yourself. Neither the government, nor the doctors, nor the scientists, nor the politician are going to do anything for you. So you need to enable yourself. Whether you have capacity, whether you have developed this capacity to learn and to apply in your life is the most important thing from the pandemic. So we say that in professional education, your learning is never complete unless you learn by doing. So it is said that the last step of learning in human life is learning by doing. Example? For example, riot police. Riot police does not have a physical capacity more than the army or the other police. But the army and other police cannot perform the function of riot police. Because riot police have been trained, they have been done by learning by doing in lifetime that how to deal a riot. So the riot police will be doing something which is not possible by other people. So this is the thing that we have learning can change. And the last step of learning is learning by doing. That is the most important learning you learn from this pandemic. This pandemic has gave us many challenges. For example, in Bangladesh, the universities, especially the private universities, colleges and schools, are not able to turn online immediately because many of the students cannot have access to internet appropriately in good wavelength bandwidth of connection. But it is very easy and simple. Many of them has it. They are using Netflixing, YouTubing out of their things. But some of these students, it is not less, it is no less than 20% of the students do not have access to the internet facility. And it is unlikely in Western societies. But so in Bangladesh, it was a challenge to overcome. There is also other challenges that our teachers are not motivated. The Western teachers overnight, they have transformed themselves how to convert into online and make their students learn the same thing, no less than physical presence in the institute. Our teachers are still not able to think of that we will change ourselves to online. So these are the hindrances. These are the realities on the ground. We say that you need to develop a system based on realities on the ground. A realities on the ground the reason that an American system will not work in Bangladesh unless we can modify it for the Bangladeshi purpose. This is consideration of the realities on the ground. So considering the realities on the ground, we could transform my educational system in such a way that no student is affected out of the pandemic because they cannot attend the schools because of social distancing. So there are opportunities. We all, the scientists, the pragmatic people, the positive people, will look for opportunities within whatever calamity, whatever distraction a condition, a pandemic makes to us. What are the opportunities for my students? And my son is also a student. He is also a medical student. He was a student, but now he is a doctor now. So I always look them, how my students, my son is learning, is able to learn. We need to find them ways to learn. Learning is the basis of your development, of your foundation, of your structure as a professional. So the opportunities are that. We have seen that, we have observed, learned that immunity is a factor in disease development and disease severity and death. You have people. So the in learning is that we need to deal patients with immune deficiencies for whatever reason in a different way than the general population. This is the concept of special population. We say that the treatment is same general for most of the general people, but some people are special people. Who are these special people? Elderly, more than 70, special, less than 1, even less than 5, you can say. Children, they are special. Pregnant women, they are special. Those who are diabetic, they are special. Those who are immunodeficient, they are special. Those who have bone marrow suppression, they are special. So these are the special groups of population. So you learn that treatment of general people and with a special population differs. And the mortality from the same disease may be different. The problems, every problem, as I said, that brings some opportunity. So completely reliable and vulnerability and universal truth that we can. And it is leading us to a point. The pandemic led us, he said that it led us to a point where teachings, philosophies, and religions couldn't lead us. So we are now washing our hands. We are now using face masks. We are maintaining social distancing, whoever is doing. The people in Bangladesh are not doing it appropriately because of the laws of trust on the epidemic control program. So if you don't trust me at all, if I say something to you, you will not believe it. So that is the reason that population understood these or circumstances around him and took their own decision how to behave during the pandemic, how to act to. So ওরা দেখছে যে আমি they are seeing that if I do the test, the result will be available in 7 days, 5 days. What is the use of this test? So people are not doing this. They say if I go to isolation, just I will be in a jail. I will not be given any human care. I will be just dumped there because I have corona. So people understood that people are not going for isolation. People know that even if I go to hospital, if there is requirement of high flow oxygen or antiviral treatment, the cost is going to be 100,000 plus in Banglataka. And if I require ICU, the cost is going to be 500,000 plus with Bangladesh Taka. So people understand that. That's why they are not going to hospital. Now the patients are going to hospital when they cannot manage with home oxygen, home management, everything. Patient appears dying and patients are going to the hospital. And half of the patients who are reaching hospital are dying within 24 hours. The patients who are dying, say there are 100 deaths in 2 days. 50 of them died within 24 hours. So that is the condition in Bangladesh. So we are learning everything. It's not we are not political persons. Human being, we have a professional responsibility, professional attitude, professional standard. So we learn everything. We apply things when we can. So is led us where even teaching philosophies and religion could not lead us. We have gone to a place where it is. We have learned, we have seen, you have seen a state, how truly a sense of helplessness grow in people. A sense of helplessness. Still people are going out with the same sense of helplessness. Whether I go or don't go, I am helpless. And if this month is not a problem. How shall I feed my children next month and the next month? Is a serious concern for the people. And people are coming out to have some earning such that they do not fall problem 1 month later, 2 months later. So these are people adaptations to the realities on the ground. Realities on the ground is that nobody is going to help you to survive. You need to survive yourself. That is my social learning. For example, this is Bangladesh context everywhere. It's not like that. So the personally, socially, professionally, spiritually, we are behaving, people are behaving in a way that they are helpless. These are the ways we need to be. Some of you might be politicians sometime. You need not be, you have an MBBS degree, that's why you cannot become a politician. That's nobody said to you. So for social work, not for earning money, of course. For social work, you can do, you have the best opportunity to be a politician in your area. Do good work for the people. And people will do, at some point of time it will come. A family, society, country, and the whole world is in short supply. Short supply of whatever they need, which they never thought of. They never thought of that I will be a short supply of something. I will be compelled to remain home. I cannot use my passport. There people cannot imagine that it can happen. It happened. So you have seen that people behavior cannot be modified by understanding only. Sometimes modification of behavior may be enforced. For example, lockdown is a serious violation of human right. That how come you say in my country, in my home, I will not go to the market, I will not go to my friend's house, I will not go to somewhere. It was unknown. Is a violation of human rights. So virtually, human right of the other person may be more important than an individual human right you have learned. So my human right is not mean that I'll do whatever I want. I cannot violate the human right of others. That is also a human right. So that's why for community well-being, for people well-being, individual human right may be violated, may require to be violated because it is such a pandemic with such potential to transmit that we had to adopt a lockdown, accepting billions of dollars of losses. So this may be required in some time. This is your learning. The educational opportunities will say that is an extraordinarily stressful situation with remarkable impact on medical, health science, medical life and health education, health science education. Provided many issues and observe, comprehend, study, incorporate and share online. You can use online. And online, if in my student life, I had this Google and I had this access to YouTube and etc., I would have been different person now. But unfortunately, I learned all these things very late, which you are fortunate that you can learn now. Every information is at your fingertip. Whether you are using your fingertip or not, that is the question. And before the pandemic, you could knew, but during pandemic, you have learned by doing. You have done the final step of learning, which is learning by doing. So you will, from now on, you will become a learner, a lifelong learner. A professional dies if he does not remain a learner. So a professional will become a qualified quack if he does not live for 10 years. So we are, for whatever reason, we have come to this profession. We need to keep ourselves, we need to develop ourselves. This is the self-development which is most important, especially in Bangladesh, where the educational institutions are not offering appropriate education. They are not offering appropriate mentorship. The people who is teaching medical ethics, he personally in his personal life does not believe in ethics. So this teaching has no meaning. This teaching has no value. We are not able. My country is not able or made unable. We have been made unable to adopt ethical principles in our life, in the educational institutions. We see violations can do the job. I need not learn to pass. I need not learn to get a job. To get a promotion. I did not learn to get a posting. So how come people will learn? But still, I need to self-develop myself. You need to self-develop yourself. You have been born. You had an ideology in the children while you are doing your SSC, HSC, that means O-level, A-level. But still, you are able to contribute. We need to do that. We need to self-develop ourselves. We need not look at the society, that the rotten society is around me. It's not my principle. My principle is to develop myself as a professional. So a professional will be a lifelong learner. Without lifelong learning, you cannot remain a professional. You can become a qualified quack. So we need and emphasize able of health workforce to tackle an epidemic. For example, in Western countries, when the rush of patients of COVID came, they just transformed the health system. In Bangladesh, we could not transform this health system. We do not have an appropriate health system. We have a health system which has been colonial health system. We are still in the era of colonial health system where the non-medical administrative personalities are looking after the health, are looking after the epidemic, and we are in the midst of that. So we are not opposing, we are not violating, we are not causing hesitation, but we are learning. As a student, you will be learning that this is not the way. We need to find a way for our people. We need to find a way for my colleague, for my family, for my friends. The pragmatic, you have seen that a flexibility in clinical and academic demand. So a flexibility in life, in profession, in association, in your workplace, you need a flexibility. Flexibility is not at the point of ethics. Outside ethical principles, you can become flexible. That we have shown during epidemic, that the professions were afraid of treating these patients. But ultimately they did, they learned, and they are able. We had no medicine. We have repurposed. That means the medicine used for other diseases, for this disease, and are able to save at least some patients, if not all patients. We are able to save some patients. We now know, we learned, you have learned that how vaccine can come. So you need to learn. You can become a researcher, you can become a vaccine researcher, you can become a clinical trialist, you can become epidemiologist or other forms of researchers also. Medicine doesn't mean only doing practice and treating patients. So it is also our responsibility. So it is your choice where you are going to. Wherever we go, we will not forget that it is responsibility of my generation to generate evidence for the next generation. So it is my responsibility to teach my next generation how to learn, how to research, how better. Maybe some people we are doing something, but it's not good. We could do better. So my youngsters should come, the now medical students should come up much better than what it is now in terms of clinical service, in terms of education, in terms of research. So we have seen that that we need to come out from out of box. It is not the same box. So in Bangladesh, we could not come out of the box. But we need to be able to come out of the box. But the disease which can come is, and this coming out of box requires innovative ways. So lockdown, social distancing, contact tracing, isolation, quarantine. You have learned so many things. Now also learning first wave, second wave, etc. So they are medical students. I will tell my students that I still tell some of my students that we are born to learn. We have adopted medical science. You have adopted medical science. You have adopted to become a medical science student to learn. It's not to avoid learning. If you want to avoid learning, just go to politics. or go to police, administration, tax, etc., etc. You can earn money there also. In profession, you cannot, money is a byproduct of your learning. Your passing exam will be a byproduct of your learning. You will not just try to pass. I will say that you will try to learn. And the pass will be a byproduct of your learning. You try to learn, you need not run after money. Money will run after you. You try to learn, money will run after you. So this is the profession where you are. My medical students are, my son is, myself was. So where we will try to learn, and every other thing will be byproduct of the learn. At the same time, we need to perform. I know everything, but I do not perform. It's not appropriate. And what is the learning? You will learn by doing. Learning by doing is the last step of learning. Unless you have learned by doing, you have not learned. If I see cricket, it looks that I could do it. How come he cannot do it? But actually, if I am put to the ground, I will not be able to do it. But it looks that I can. But in practice, I cannot. So this is the difference between learning by doing and learning without doing. So we always make this opportunity to. So in future, we would like to see that it created many opportunities for research also. Not only research on the disease, but also research on the health system, research on the way people have been affected financially, socially, and physically, research on areas of impacts like financial impact and other impacts, long-term impacts, long-term COVID, etc. And so it has provided opportunities. The thing is that whether we are able to capture these opportunities, where we are able to remain stick to the problem. Sorry, I think there are international students. That's why when I go back to Bangla for better understanding, I back to English again. Okay, so it is an opportunity. We need to take this opportunity. So every opportunity, you need to be able to take the opportunity. So we prepare to work in a collaborative and virtual way. We have learned during this pandemic. This can shorten your time, effort, money, everything. So we need to be developing ourselves. You need to be developing yourself, and you need to be preparing yourself to go to work virtually and collaboratively, because a single person cannot do anything. We need to collaborate. So there is no research paper on earth which has been done by one person, because most of them have been collaborative. There could be some exceptions. Exceptions are never the rules. The rules is that it has to be collaborative. In case of for research, the research methodologies, and you need to always make plan A and plan B. We need to work in a way that you never run out of options. We say that you will plan a work, plan an organization, plan an activity, that there always have to be a plan B, because plan A may not work for whatever reason. The reasons are unexpected, are not always expected. So you always should be expecting the unexpected. So the most important ways of expecting the unexpected is to develop a plan B for each of your actions and each of your learning. You need to maintain communication with society, community, virtually, socially, as far as practicable. And this social distancing means is a physical distancing, not necessarily mental distancing. So it's not social distancing. This is a misnomer actually. This is really a physical distancing, not a social distancing. So we need to perform this distancing program as a physical distancing only, not a social distancing. This has enormously provided you some time to upgrade yourself, to cover your deficiencies if you had any, by networking, by communication, by support, and by using the time, using your fingertip. You have the fingertip, if you can use it. You have the best weapon on earth. A pistol cannot save you. This fingertip can save you. Use this fingertip. So this has been enormously learned during this pandemic. and rapid sharing of data. You build up a supportive system. And pandemic reading, writing, you can write. You learn, whatever learn you write. You write on Facebook, you write on YouTube, you write on, for example, LinkedIn. There are many, so you know many more than me. So try write something. Before writing, you need to be very widespread in learning. Without learning, just reading one paper, don't go to write. Because one paper may be biased. And it is said that human being cannot be without bias. We do not believe anybody. You need to prove that. So human being cannot be, that's why we will require double-blind placebo-controlled trial. If the researcher knows which one is the drug, it could be biased. So double-blind is required to eliminate bias. So try to maintain that every time a human being cannot be without bias. And this is a rule. If there is an exception, if a prophet comes or if an angel comes, he can be without bias. Even a robot can be biased. So human being cannot be without bias. We need to give this importance, this give learnings that there are many writings which are biased. You have seen. I need not give you examples. You have hundreds of examples that this writing was not true. But as a medical student, when you will be writing something, you need to see that you have a base level. You are a medical student. You cannot write something below this level. So you need to have adequate learning before you write something. But at the same time, because you think that you do not have capacity to write, don't feel shy. Don't feel shy. Please begin doing it. You can. You can is the most important principle. We need to integrate. They asked me the principle. Try to integrate the clinical approach, research, and public health education. This is the integration. You give up your shyness. Come out of your shyness. Be bold. Be truthful. Be active. And that will be the most important. So in the midst of confusion shared, it is crucial that healthcare should stick to basic principles and ethical standards. Oxygen, so oxygen is declining, you detect it by a pulse oximeter. You rapidly offer patients with pulse oximeter, especially when they are coming out of the toilet. That means this is after some exercise. So if the pulse oximetry reading goes below 92 is an indication for hospitalization. So you have learned that. And the other thing is, if the patient has respiratory disease, you are taking them to hospital. You are giving them oxygen. And you are giving oxygen which is escalated, 6 liter, 10 liter, 12 liter, 15 liter, 30, 40, then to ventilator. So you see, these are the things which I could not teach my students in Bangladesh all these things uniformly, appropriately, if there was no epidemic, no this pandemic. So a pandemic has provided you opportunity. Whether you are able to learn, this is your problem. If you want to learn, there are enormous opportunities to learn in a multidimensional way. Don't become tunnel vision, that you are looking through a tunnel. You become very broad vision, wide vision, 180-degree vision, as you have. And it could be best if I had 360 degrees, 2 eyes behind my head. It could be best, but we do not have. We have 180 degree. So keep this 180 degree open. Don't look through a tunnel. So I have talked so many things. I don't know whether it could give any effort or any input there to your understanding or learning in future. So I would like to conclude here that medical community comprising of doctors, nurses, paramedics, and accredited social health workers. We are all health workers. We need to work in a team. In Bangladesh, team means one behind the other. This is not going to be a professional team in medical science. Where you need help, the other one need your help. So we are a team which includes students. It is not appropriately implemented in my country. Don't be disheartened. You are unfortunate that you are born in this country. We have many unfortunate things because we are not allowed to perform the best. So we have students shall face this uh, deal this time fearlessly. From the very beginning, I was advising on Facebook that government should recruit the final 2-year students as medical volunteers for quarantine, isolation, and etc. Maintaining order in the society also. So this could be a very real deal that to contain the epidemic. But for some reason it has not been done. I think that we can work. The medical students, I will invite them to work fearlessly, to work with truth, to work collectively, and select today in a way that define the future of mankind. We are for the mankind. We are born because you have inducted in medical science means you are born to work for the mankind, not for me, not for you. So this mission will continue. I think this pandemic has given you a big learning. We will try to utilize the learning from these pandemics. Thank you very much. I thank again the organizers for inviting me. Best wishes. Thank you very much.